Up above my head, I hear music in the air. Up above my head, I hear music in the air. I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. Up in my room, I hear music. Up in my room, I hear music, sweet music. I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. Everywhere I go, I hear music. Everywhere I go, I hear music. I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. All over the world, I hear music, sweet music. All over the world, I hear music. I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. Up above my head, I hear music in the air. Up above my head, I hear music, sweet music. I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. Everywhere I go, there's music in the air. Everywhere I go, there's music in the air. Oh, I really do believe there's a heaven somewhere. I really do believe, yeah, there's a heaven somewhere.
Good morning. I'm Terry Cornelius. I'm a practitioner at the Hilltop Center for Spiritual Living. So glad that you're joining us today. It's my pleasure to be here. We care about you. We're glad you're taking care of yourselves, and know that we will be back together soon. Love you all. Have a wonderful day. Hi there. Just want to remind you that we know that God is all there is. We are one with that source of love and generosity. And I know that this is a tough time for all of us, but we're in this together. We are a family. We're doing this virtually until we can be together again. And I know that the God in me is the God in you, and that is how we express love and forgiveness and joy and appreciation for all that's going on right now, reminding ourselves that we have that love of God within us. We are that God, and we can express that to our friends and families and the healthcare workers and all the people who are making this life a better life for us. I am so grateful for knowing that, reminding myself daily that it's all good and it's all a plan. I need to step out of thinking that they're going to listen to my ideas anyway. So this is good. We are grateful for all that. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. and also for our minister who's taken this on. Reverend Dr. Guy has taken on this virtual communication, and I appreciate him, I appreciate all you, and I look forward to us being together soon. And so it is. The reading I chose today is from Ernest Holmes, titled Love Dissolves All Fear. Greater than fear is love. Love dissolves all fears, casts out all doubt, and sets the captive free. Love, like the river of life, flows through me and refreshes me with its eternal blessings. Love cannot be afraid. It is fearless and strong and is mighty in its works. It can accomplish all things through the inner light of that faith in the all good, which fills my very being with a powerful presence. Love casts out all fear, and so it is.
Relax your body and let us pause in this present moment. In this moment, here and now, all things are present. Whether they be known or unknown, they are present in this moment. As you feel your body relaxing, notice your pattern of breath. And take a breath, a comfortable breath, to breathe in deep and breathe out slow. Breathe in deep and breathe out slow. Breathe in deep and breathe out slow. Relax. And in your mind's eye, a gift is coming to you, and it is the presence of a kiss. It is a kiss that is received and felt with your entire being. Feel the presence of this holy gift, this gift of love, and how it fills the heart, the body, and the mind with a sense of ease, inner lightness, inner being, and inner presence. Take this in, for this is for you. This is your gift. And into this present moment, as this gift lingers within your being, bringing your attention to your heart center and the energy all around you, keeping the presence of this close. Say in your mind's eye, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. To say is to know, and to know is to feel, and to feel is to have no doubt, but to be expansive. In one with love, in one with light, I am this. I am the light of loving awareness, and I am the truth that lives in my heart. And as I radiate this truth within me, the lightness of my being is present, and I am present to this love. This love lives within me, and it stays present forevermore. And may its light grow brighter and brighter with every thought and every moment that I am knowing, loving awareness. And so it is.
Hello. It was so lovely hearing Kimmy Anderson of Spirit Hill's dulcet voice singing, above our head, above our room, everywhere we go, all around the world, we hear music. Music is one of those wonderful things that remind us of where we are and who we're with. They tell us the story, or they remind us. They become the soundtrack of when we're together. I know for myself that this week the soundtrack playing in my head has been Martha and the Vandellas singing Dancing in the Streets. I think it's because the weather has been so beautiful that I'm just itching and anxious to kind of get moving again. You know, other things that bring us together is nature, right? When we're on a walk or a hike with our four-legged friend or other friends, when we're sharing the beauty of a sunset, of a surfing adventure or a sailing adventure, or getting on the motorcycle and going into the back country. Other things that remind us of when we're together are dinners with friends or family, where we gather together and wax eloquently into the night over philosophy and politics. We laugh over stories. We argue with love. And a personal favorite of mine that reminds me of when we're together is this. It's the Sunday mornings at the Hilltop Spiritual Center. Those times when we sing together, we laugh together, we pray together, and we visit and catch up with each other's lives. You know, something that is a metaphysical axiom is this, is that we turn from God, not from the world, but we turn to God in the world. And perhaps this is kind of a challenge for you these days, because there's a lot of suffering. And there's a lot of things to be frustrated on or angry. And so we don't want to see God in the world. We want to be distracted. We want to look away. Maybe even resort to magical thinking, like somehow God or aliens or spies or whoever or whatever sent this pandemic. But you know, I think what all of it comes down to is this, is that we are wanting a story that helps us hold on to an idea of going back to what was normal. Thomas Berry, the ecological writer and thinker, the theologian, in his book, The Dream of the Earth, says this. He says, "We are in trouble just now because we do not have a good story. We are in between stories. We need a story that will educate us, a story that will heal us, guide us, and discipline us. We want a new story because we want to see things differently." But I'm reminded right now of the words of Terry Cornelius as she was reading the passage from Ernest Holmes, where it says, "Greater than fear," and I would add greater than frustration, or restlessness, or experiences of betrayal or anger, greater than all of these things is the power of love. And so maybe the way to a new story is not looking backward, but looking forward. Maybe the way to the new story is on the path of love. And the love that I'm talking about here is not sort of that passive, sentimental love. It's really more of a fierce love. It's an active love. It's an engaged love. It's a passionate love. And it comes from that same place where courage is born. It's that love that comes from the heart. So the question that I would ask today is this: what do you love? What do you love? Who do you love? Thomas Aquinas, the 13th century philosopher and great intellectual, he is actually the man that's attributed to bringing the work of Aristotle back to the West after the fall of the Roman Empire. But what he writes is this, is he says, the person who is good when they take joy in what is good, evil when they take joy in what is evil. The person is virtuous when they find happiness in a virtuous life, sinful when they take pleasure in a sinful life. Hence, he goes on to say, the things we love tell us who we are. And who we are determines the story we say about ourselves. Who we are is the lens by which we see the world. It's the lens by which we see God in the world. Because again, from a metaphysical axiom is things appear not as they are. Things appear as we are. And if we want to see things differently, then we need to change the narrative within our own self. And so perhaps before we start talking about a new story, before we have the ears to hear the music or the eyes to see all that there is, before we can determine anything, before we can look outside, we must first look inside to that divine essence that is in with each and every one of us. Thomas Merton, in his book, New Seeds of Contemplation, says this in the beginning of his 5th chapter. A tree gives glory to God by being a tree. For in being what God means it to be, it is obeying Him. It consents, so to speak, to His creative love. It is expressing an idea which is in God and which is not distant or distinct from the essence of God. And therefore, a tree imitates God by being a tree. So we want to remember that Thomas Merton wrote this in the 1950s, and so, the verbs of Him and God, if we take them out, there's an essence of what he's saying, is that the tree imitates the divine essence. The tree imitates its creator by being a tree. Just like a dog imitates the divine by being a dog, or a cat imitates the divine by being a cat, or a rose, or a frog, or anything that is created imitates the creator by being what it is. Joseph Campbell says this. He says, a journey of a lifetime is being who we are. Now, we as human beings are a lot more nuanced than, say, a dog or a rose or a frog or a horse. Thomas Merton goes on to say this too. He says what makes us different is that God, this divine essence, created us in absolute freedom, which is love, to be whatever we want to be. And so, the secret of our true identity then is this imitation of the divine. And the way that we are able to express this is to go within. And really what he goes on to say is this, he says, the secret of our true identity is hidden in the love, in the compassion, and in the mercy of the divine, because that's where true freedom is. Some of you have probably heard me tell this story because it's such an important story in my personal life. It happened when I was in my mid-20s. I used to live at the beach with my 2 good buddies, Dave and Ron. And Dave and Ron, if you're listening, good to see you guys. So anyway, we had this habit of having dinners, and we would invite one person or another, and there would be these great, interesting philosophical conversations. And one evening, Dave brings home this Catholic priest, as he is wont to do. And somewhere, I don't know, between what course or another, he drops this thing. And I find out later that it's actually a riff on something that St. Augustine says. But what he says is this. He says, if you love God, you can do whatever you want. What? All I have to do is love God and I can do whatever I want? But think about this, like I thought about this, because have you ever really loved somebody? I'm sure you have, or you've committed yourself to something. Because when you love something, what is it that you do? You do what brings them joy. You bring what delights them. You do what brings them pleasure. What don't you do? You don't do what's offensive. You don't do what's hurtful. You don't do what would make them unhappy. Now, no one's making you do anything. You're choosing this, because what we know about love is this, is love is always offered, it's never imposed. For love to impose, it is not love. So true love is true freedom. And when we begin to understand that, we begin to know that the divine has created us in pure love, and that our response to see the divine in the world, we see it then with new eyes, eyes that are free, that are not bound by past hurts, that are not bound by what we should do or shouldn't do, but we see with the eyes of freedom. And in these eyes, our hearts then are kindled ablaze. We're filled with a passion, a desire, an engagement. We hear the music with new ears. We see with new eyes. And we tell the story that determines the experience from a new place. And so let us enter into a contemplation, a prayer, if you would, from this. And I start always in this place of gratitude. I start by a contemplation that even before time, even before 13 plus billion years ago, in the eternal moment, that which is without time and without space, that this divine beingness, which is the nature, the essence of love, contemplates all that is and will be. And so your life and my life have been known within the divine mind even before time itself, that we have always been known in this vast, exquisite contemplation of pure being, what Kabbalah calls the Ein Sof. And it can only contemplate within its own nature, which is love. If God was to stop loving us, which God cannot do, we would cease to exist. We have been known and created in love. And our contemplation is for 14 billion years since the beginning of all things. That love has continued to process and to evolve until it finds its expression here and now, in this moment. In this moment, we are being created in love. In this moment, love is being poured forth. In this moment, love is luring us and inviting us to take part in the creation, the ongoing creation of this unfinished universe. And so what I know for each and every one of us is there is a wisdom that guides us. It is the bread for the journey, the strength and the support of all that we need being given to us now. And it is the beauty that adorns all creation, that brings us to this place of amazement, of wonder, of beingness. It leads us in this moment to gratefulness. Grateful for this technology that allows us to be together. Grateful for the experience of life, because no matter what is going on, we are here, we are conscious, we are aware. Many, many blessings. Thank you again for being part of our celebration today. I want to thank so many of the people that have made this possible. First, I want to thank Spirit Hill and Frank Alves as part of our music ministry that provided the first song. I'd like to thank in advance Daring Greatly for their amazing song, which will be at the end of this. Always, I want to thank our staff, Michelle and Diana, who are working so diligently. I want to thank our board for their support. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being with us and sharing us on Facebook and liking us on YouTube or whatever that is that we do. I want to thank you for loving us and allowing us to love you, to allow us to grow and expand, because, you know, we're really in interesting times, and our future as far as a spiritual community of what that looks like and how we experience it, quite honestly, is uncertain. And so we depend on you. We depend on you for your generous and your continuous support. This is how we're here today. This is how we will continue to be. So thank you for joining us in this great experiment of offering a spiritual insight and the generous gifts of the spiritual tools that we offer. If you visit our website, you'll see there's opportunities for yoga and guided meditations, there's music videos, all these things are there. And again, I want to thank Terry and all the other practitioners who have been calling and who have been praying. They've been leading our daily prayer circle Monday through Friday. They've been holding you in consciousness. And so if you would like prayer, if you'd like somebody to talk to, please reach out to them. Their contact information, like everything else, is found on the website. And there you'll also find ways in which you can help support us, either by writing a check and sending it in, as some of you are doing, or using DonorBox or our PayPal account. Again, thank you for allowing the Hilltop Spiritual Center to grow, to exist. We are indeed a thriving, welcoming, spiritual community. Many, many blessings.
I can fly so high, run my fingers through the trees, dancing around the night on an endless flight, far beyond the road I see. Gentle smile, I know that I am really free, and with no wrong or right, and no sound or sight, we are all just energy. Oh yeah, come and dance with me. Sunshine on a circle climb, all we have to do is be. Above the clouds we rise with no yours